finish the job. And so I always told them in practices before I said, if I hold up 5 fingers and slap somebody, it hurts, but the sting will go away.
Right.
But if I hold up a fist and I punch somebody, I can do more damage with a punch versus a slap.
Right.
So I said, okay, if you got 5 individuals in the court and everybody wants to do their own thing, we may have some success, but we won't have much success.
Right.
If we play collectively, we can do much damage and we can achieve our goal and win a championship.
Yeah, that's a tremendous accomplishment for yourself. I think that, in the space is so hard because we always ask ourselves or tell ourselves, like, what more can I do more of? And we sit back and we like, well, bro, like, what you mean? Like, you made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to the second round or something, and it's like, you don't want to celebrate that? It's like, bro.
Yeah.
But then there's this notion of like, no, I could be doing more. Or it's like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So, like, you need to give yourself kudos and credit for it. And I'm like, all right, well, guess what? It's year 2025, and Jay's still learning how to celebrate himself because it takes time.
I've had people ask me, too, like, what's my why? Why do I do this? And I look at the kids who are coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the kids like, look, they have an opportunity.
Right.
Why not help them just discover that opportunity?
For sure.
Help them see that, hey, you want to do this? Let's figure out. We all have gifts.
Yeah.
We all have a moment. We all have things that we are good at.
Right.
So I'm big on community.
The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said you're up and I'm up. Y'all now tuned in to the Grind Hard Dream Big Show. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I got a special guest in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, man.
What's going on? TJ, I'm a coach, photographer, mentor, nonprofit owner. I'm happy to be here, man.
Nah, for sure. So for the people that don't know, man, like, what was the upbringing for you? Like, where you were born, where you were raised?
Oh, man. I traveled a lot growing up. I moved around a lot as a kid, but I hail from District Heights, Maryland. That's my hometown. It's my heart. As a kid, man, I was the youngest. I was the only child until I was 12. I was blessed to have a baby sister. Then at 13, my brother came into the world. Grew up with a lot of cousins, but I moved around a lot between first grade through 6th. Fun, playing ball, hanging around the neighborhood, not getting too much trouble, but definitely in the sports. I was in the sports. I got started in the sports at 12, 13 years old, playing with the Boys and Girls Club at District Heights. And then it was just off to the races from there.
Nah, for sure. So as you were like navigating like through school and things like that, did you have like a favorite subject or anything that you kind of like look forward to? Because, our inner child is like, all right, bet, like, oh, I love school, or man, school was all right, but I did value this thing though.
Yeah, math was my thing. I love math. I love the numbers. And I'm a visual learner. So like if you show me something and I could get it down, it's probably like the second or third try. So like, but math came easy to me, and I was always like that. Even in college, I took advanced math in college, and then my least subject was science. I couldn't stand science. I hated everything about it. It wasn't I didn't hate it. I couldn't understand certain stuff with science and the way that it was taught. So, especially when I got to college, and then I just was over it. But between that, math, my favorite. Math has been my all-time favorite subject.
Got you, for sure. So as you kind of like pivoted and like navigated, right? We out of the elementary, out of the middle, out of the high school. Now, like, what was like early college? Now it's like I'm an adult now. You know what I'm saying? So like, how was that transition from like the high school to adulthood? Because we all know, like, oh yeah, man, I'm in school, I'm doing good, but college, this is a whole nother monster, a whole nother chapter now.
Yeah. So first, I went to Maryland Eastern Shore. I want to shout out all my Hawks. it was a transition period, man, because I'm unfamiliar territory. I'm away from home for an extended period of time for the first time in my life. But it made me have to grow up and really think for myself and learn how to do things for myself quickly. And thankfully for my parents, they kind of gave me that structure where it's like, hey, we know it's not going to be here, so we kind of want you to know how to do stuff now. And it was the same thing. It was fun. Probably the greatest 4 years I've had in my life in school, turning education wise. But definitely some challenges and learning how to manage my time and between education and then extracurricular activities, and just learning how to just manage who I am and be that. You really get to know who you are in those 4 years of college. Um, I got a chance to really learn who am I on campus. Between just wanting to be in the crowd, everybody wanted to be around, want to be around a lot of the people. But I knew that just it wasn't really meant for me at a point in time, and I let it get to the point of distraction. So that's why I say I learned a lot of mistakes in college, but it also helped me too.
Nah, for sure. I think that all of us have went through that, like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, after high school, it's like, oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in college. Wait, I'm on my own now? I
yeah,
got to
yeah,
think
right.
faster now. I got to fend for myself. Oh, yeah, man, what time? Because, like, you setting your own schedule.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, now it's like, oh, no, you picked your classes.
Mm-hmm.
You did everything like that. You got to develop your routine. It ain't no more, oh, yeah, man, somebody used to hold me accountable. Nah, you holding yourself accountable
Correct.
now even more with that. So, as you kind of, like, transition from college and now, pivoting out of it, now we transfer and transition to the nonprofit and Push for Greatness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, how I was introduced to it, like I said, I saw the name, came across it on social and everything, and then the name stood out, and it was mentoring. So for myself, I'm like, okay, this is something I'm trying to get into.
Mm-hmm.
What was the birth of Push for Greatness, and why did you decide to feel like this was something that was needed for you?
Great question. The thought of Push for Greatness started in high school. So I've always wanted to give back to my community. So personally, I made a promise to myself and through prayer, I said if I was ever in a position where I could give back, I would love to give back to this community. Because I'm big on family. I'm big on like, we together, we're in this. And so um, I never had a name. My name was Push Your Greatness came late. The name came later.
Got you.
And
Okay.
so I was in college, and then I talked to like two of my friends about it, and we sat outside one night, and I was like, "Look, I got this idea, and it's a mentoring program I'm gonna do. It's in the fourth, and I really didn't have no real layout plan on it." He was like, "Yo, I think I like it. I think you'll be really dope at it." But we've all had them moments where we had an idea, but we sit on it.
Right.
I sat on this idea for probably uh, like 10 years.
Wow.
I sat on this idea for a long time. So by the time I really got to start it, I done went through, got my master's degree, and then I sat on it again for another 5 years after graduating from my master's. So I sat there, and then I just got to a point where it was like it's time to do it. It's time to actually start this, because you see people who are in the community, see these kids. I coach too, so I get attached to the kids, or the kids draw close to you, and you see the problems that they're facing outside of basketball, outside
Right.
of the sport. And it's like, man, y'all need some help. And that's when I sat home and I just went into a mode of I wrote down everything I wanted for this program to run, how we wanted to be ran, what we want to talk about. And it's basic life skills, some simple stuff that we all learn every single day. And a lot of us has learned this in our childhood, but we learned a lot of it later on in our adulthood. So I wanted to at least give them a foundation of how to do certain stuff. So when they go to college, when they go to in adulthood, they know what to actually do. And so it started 2018. and we really wasn't out in the community as much in that first year. And then we just wanted to kind of just learn the ropes, see what we can do, what we can't do. And then from 2019, we've been really pushing to make a name for ourselves in the community, which is crazy. Tomorrow we celebrate 7 years.
Man, I'm
Which is
clapping that
crazy,
up, man.
Appreciate
That's
it,
all
man.
right. That's what's up,
7
man.
years, man. Officially tomorrow we celebrate 7 years, and it has its moments. We have our moments. We have our highs and lows, but you know, I don't take nothing for granted. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve in this community in the DMV. But there's a lot of work to be done,
For sure.
and I got a chance to talk to a friend of mine about this who was my church, and he's my assistant director. And I was like, I got this idea. And I laid it out. And he was like, when do I start?
Wow.
And I was like, yo, we can start today. It was crazy. His wife came out in the hallway. Literally, after he said yes, his wife came in the hallway. And he was just like, yo, listen to this idea. I said, look, it's an idea to help kids. We do the mentoring, teach them life skills, and whoop, whoop. She was like, when do I start? I said, we start now. So Brianna and Terrence Richardson, they've been part of this since the jump. We've recruited, we working to recruit mentors such as you still part of, even though you're not officially in the program, you're still part of the family.
Right.
But we've had kids from PG, DC, Charles County, and we service a few kids in Virginia. And it's been an honor, man. I just love it. It's a blessing to do this. So that's really much how I got started, man. It's all started with a thought process and a dream and make it into reality.
Now, for sure. And that's the execution part. Like I said before, like I think that when you're learning information and you're learning how to do something, me and you talk all the time, and we always sit there and say the one thing, that mentoring is a full-time job.
Exactly.
I will say that again for the people that need to understand that mentoring is a full-time job. So for myself and understanding what it was me being invested into the person. I had the conversation with you, and then from there it was like, okay, what work needs to be done? And yo, Jay, these are a group of kids. You need to sit there and do X, Y, and Z. All the I's is dotted, T's is crossed. We're good. We're going to continue to amplify and elevate, because that's my biggest thing, and obviously communication. So now as you are pivoting and learning in this space with like in the community and things like that, right? And of course, like coaching, right? How do you feel about the state of the youth now? Because it's so many things that they're going through, whether it be, school, academics, where they live at, the trauma, the social media. Like, what have been your encounters with youth, and where do you feel like the state is like right now?
I feel like the youth is in need of just sound guidance and actually some real actual love. I feel like with the youth in our generation now, they have a voice, and a lot of times that we as adults we've silenced them by not allowing them to speak and voice their frustration about certain things was going on. But there's a way to go about how they address it. Like in our program, we've had a kid in our program who he came in, he was just really angry about life. Things wasn't going well. But as he began to just trust people in our program that he was talking to, he began to open up and he began to change how he felt about himself. And here's the thing that I also learned too with that is that they don't change overnight, because we didn't change overnight.
Facts.
We make mistakes, we mess up, we have moments where we lash out, and we have to understand that as adults, we were once kids.
Yes.
We were once in their shoes at a different time, because now everything is amplified because of social media.
Right.
We've amplified everything because of Everything's now is more quick. It's instant. You can see it now.
Right.
Think about if we had TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever social media we have now. We always out. Think about if we had it to this degree when we was in high school or versus even in middle school.
Mm.
Think of the stuff that we was doing. Is really much. They're really. We would have been in a lot more trouble. But I do feel like I'm always see stuff half full. I do see the good in them. They just need. Sometimes they just need hey, they just need somebody to talk to.
Right.
Somebody just it's a way to approach them. Because sometimes I feel like sometimes there are some adults who approach them in a negative manner, so their reaction is negative.
Right.
And so, I would challenge the youth though for this summer, to just really think about what it is that they want out of life, and then make every effort to make it happen. Because you're the next leaders in this community.
Right.
You're the next CEOs. You're the next firefighters, plumbers, presidents, business owners, streaming artists, content creators. You're the next ones.
Right.
So what is going to be your message? What is your message? What are you going to leave to your community?
Right. I agree with that. I think that, like you said, the tough love, I believe they definitely need. I definitely do believe that they need the sound guidance, for sure. Rather rather what that may look like. And I think a lot of the kids need opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the threshold is because, being in the DMV, of course, a product of Prince George's County, graduated from Charles Herbert Flowers, got my degree, from Bowie State University in broadcast journalism. Shout out to Bulldogs. But I'm saying all that to say, even when I was coming up, there was opportunities for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm seeing a lack thereof, it's like, okay, everything is, 100 miles per hour. They at 20, 30, 40. They trying to keep up. Some probably didn't even hit 65. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay. And we have to look at those opportunities and those things and really trying to gauge them to think, because a lot of them are in survival mode that they don't even know
Correct.
how to imagine or dream, because it's like, I live here. So because I live here,
that's
all I know is
that's all you know.
I don't know up the street. I don't know further down. All I know is my radius.
So
that's it.
With that, it like you just said, we have to, as adults, we have to work these programs to expose them to opportunities. So that's why I love youth sports when it's ran correctly. You give them an opportunity to travel, especially in the spring and summer.
Right.
You give them an opportunity to travel outside of their neighborhood to go play in different cities and different areas to experience, hey, this is what it is.
Right, for sure.
Coaching on youth level in the county. Then I coached in AAU. AAU gave me an opportunity to travel with them and see, hey, different cities, different states. We go play. I remember vividly, we had an opportunity to go see. We used to tour Duke University on a regular, and the organizations I used to coach at, and we would tour every single year. So we wanted to give them an opportunity. Hey, you can see yourself here.
Gotcha.
This is where you can be here, not just for basketball,
right,
but through your academics and through your academics as well. So you don't have to just settle for sports to be at this prestigious university. And then there was years later, I had an opportunity to take kids to see my alma mater and tour that, and they was like, and some of them was just intrigued and asking questions about the school, and I was like, yeah, this. And I answered them as much as I could, best I could, and they was like, you been here? I was like, yeah, coach. They say, yeah, coach, where'd you stay at? They asked where I stay at.
Right.
You're giving them kind of the whole tour.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it was fun. Like I said, I think too, the exposure we give them. is a major thing that can help them. But then also too is the exposures that they see within their city and their
Yes.
neighborhoods
Right.
has a major effect on them,
Right. For sure.
and it can help them or hurt them.
Right.
So
Nah, I agree with that 100%. It's like if you're around the way, you want to act like you're from around the way, but it's like you're more than that. My encounters, I tell kids all the time, like, nah, we're not in your environment. You know, us as a collective will create atmosphere. Atmosphere and environment are two different words, obviously, but the atmosphere is what you vision, what you see. You know what I'm saying? That welcome and love. If it's that tough love that you didn't receive, you could get it over here. If it's that conversation you're looking for, you can get it over here.
right,
Like those things that you need access to, I will make myself accessible for you
right,
because I think that is necessary for them. And as they continue to move and they continue to grow, they'll realize, okay, well, dang, such and such was that for me, and I could be such and such for somebody else. And that's the ultimate goal. So when we're talking about that, right, and I know you sat there and said youth sports, because I ain't gonna lie, been through a lot of games, seen a lot of things and things like that. First of all, I want to commend you for that, because for one, that's not just a, hey man, look man, I need an opening, man, come over here. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a specific, special individual, because I believe that anything dealing with youth, just my opinion, you know what I'm saying, is a calling, right?
Yeah.
Something that is thought through, something that you, like you said earlier, like it's not going to happen overnight. So you have to realize the process. Okay, it's 26 letters in the alphabet. We're at the letter A. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Months down the line, we may get the G.
Yep.
Then after G, we can get all the way down to hopefully Q and R, and then see this finish line all the way through. So with that and those experiences, what I see a lot of and going to your games and things of that nature, of course, basketball is just that sport that a lot of people love and grow towards. But the relationship building that you have with your kids, I want to highlight that, because for one, it's coming from a place of love. That's one. And then two, the intentionality, right? Because it's easy where a kid can make a mistake in a game and feel like, oh my gosh, I exploded. I did something completely wrong. But the body language and the demeanor and what I see from you is, okay, you made the mistake. You know you made the mistake. I could beat you up about it, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that. And, hey, yo, this next time out or whatever like that, hey, you good? But I'm a create that safe haven for you. That way we can have this conversation in private. So that way it's not like a big thing like that. So
Right.
Can you kind of speak to why relationship building is so important in youth sports and what that actually does long term?
I realized it early on in my coaching career. I started coaching my brother, and he was in the 6th grade. No, I'm sorry, excuse me, 7th grade. And um, I get to build with them and talk to them. I'm naturally a engaging person, and I realized that coaching one style all the time, it won't reach everybody. So you have to figure out, how can I get the most out of each individual every time. There are certain kids I can talk to and scream at and yell at, and then they get it. But then there are kids you have to pull them to the side and be like, hey, this is what I need you to do. This is why you messed up. It's okay. We can't have this, we can't have it repeatedly. And so in practices, I correlate life lessons with basketball. And I feel like my best coaching stretch has been between, in the last 6 years. I was blessed to help coach a group of young men. I started with them when they was 9, and I'm still coaching most of them now. Being able to be around them, build with them, mentor a few of them personally. You see things they go through on the court. They go through on the court in the games and in practices, But then you get a chance to. You have to be that mentor to them when they off the court, because what they do is, and every coach probably has experienced this, is they'll bring their problems into practice.
Yep.
They'll bring an issue that happened, whether it was in school or at home or just in a situation, onto a practice. And now you got to make sure, hey, I need you to let it go. I need your best for these next 30, 40 minutes
Right.
of gameplay.
For sure.
So I need you to block everything out. And sometimes it's kind of, and you get those kids where it's harder to reach them. And then you get kids where you reach them at a faster pace.
For sure.
So this year we had an opportunity. We won our league championship this year for county, and it was really special to win it with them, because with most of them, all we kept saying was 5 years. It took us 5 years to win this.
Wow.
And through the trial and errors, through the disappointments and losing the playoffs, you get right to the almost at the finish line, and then you lose, and we figuring out what's wrong, why.
Right.
We get to we play in the summer, we playing it over in the fall, and you have some success, then you have some failures.
Right.
So and you correlate it with, hey, this is a life thing. Our time wasn't meant to win then. It was meant to win right now. Got you. And so the way they battled, the way we, and I felt like we was mentally ready for that this year to play and win. I felt like we was just on a different mental level. We was more collective. We was worried. We wasn't worried about playing selfish, and collectively we finished the job. And so I always told them in practices before, I said if I hold up 5 fingers and slap somebody, it hurts, but this thing will go away. Right. But if I hold up a fist and I punch somebody, I can do more damage with a punch versus a slap. Right. So I said, okay, if you got 5 individuals in the court and everybody wants to do their own thing, we may have some success, but we won't have much success. Right. If we play collectively, we can do much damage, and we can achieve our goal and win a championship.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous accomplishment for yourself. I think that, in the space is so hard because we always ask ourselves or tell ourselves, like, what more can I do more of? And we sit back and we like, well, bro, like, what you mean? Like, you made the playoffs. Yeah. You got to the second round or something, and it's like, you don't want to celebrate that. It's like, bro. Yeah. But then there's this notion of like, no, I could be doing more. Or it's like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. So like, you need to give yourself kudos and credit for it. And I'm like, all right, well, guess what? It's year 2025 and Jay's still learning how to celebrate himself because it takes time. Because a lot of this work is like, okay, this is what God has called us to do. But then we pour, and then we pour, and then we pour. And then it's like, yo, what about us? Like, what about that? So even in this collective journey, man, like I said, I was at the championship game. It was a game full of emotions, right? Yes. The phenomenal, infamous last ride, right? That a lot of people could sit there and call it like, okay, bet this is like the final chapter, final paragraph, writing the final sentence right here, leaving it like this. Your emotions and everything, like throughout that day, to me, like the composure, it felt like you knew you were in the moment. I'm gonna be in the moment. And then, you guys suffered an injury. And then after the injury happened, it was bigger than basketball. And I believe it was always bigger than basketball, but in that particular moment, you emphasized it to the team and everybody understood. It's like, all right, cool. And then from there, it just felt like you said, mentally being on a whole nother level from that moment. So like, kind of like reflect on the emotions of that and like how that transpired. Because like I said, the game, it was tight, definitely was. It was definitely tight. Possession by possession. Had other talent in Oxon Hill. Shout outs to them. for that. And then as you guys have to shift and adapt and adjust to not only the injury, but how do I get my head back in this game? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was, man. It was. I think the whole day I just felt really good about the whole day. And one, it was, we're finally on this stage.
Right.
And where these gentlemen haven't been on this stage on this league yet.
Right.
But I've been on this stage in the league championship before. So I know what to expect. You get to the gym, you kind of get your nerves out.
Right.
I have my time when I park. I sat in the car for maybe like 10 minutes before I got out and got ready, said my prayer, really just cleared my brain, and then walked in. We got prepared. It was just like regular game. Wow. So I didn't treat it like coaches, we all say this at times. Oh, it's another game.
Right.
And we knew this was it. We knew for us in that uniform, this was the last time we were together playing.
Right.
So it meant something different for us. And so, like as you said, game was tight. We're going back and forth.
Right.
I think we was up no more than 6. I think 6 points. I think we was down probably no more than like 2.
Right.
Then the injury happened.
Right.
And that shook me to the core because he was one of my ones I've been working with since he was coming up, since I first introduced to him.
Right.
And to have him really break a bone in his leg on that day.
Yeah.
It just kind of took a lot. It took a lot in that moment. Took a lot out of me. So, and you can see it in the players too.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
And you can see it in the players.
Absolutely.
They were very concerned because we everybody says it. We're a family over here. We're a family at in your teams, in your orgs. Your family. You spend a lot of time with each other. So his mother was our team manager.
Right.
So she felt some type of way. Of course, that's her child. So make sure she was good. And so while she left, once he got in the ambulance and left, she went to the hospital with him.
Right.
And then I just saw a different look in their faces. I told them specifically, this is not a game no more for us. This is for him.
Right.
Let's win this for him, and let's win this championship. Like they're playing the game. We're playing for something bigger.
Right.
That was my exact words. They're just playing a game right now. The other team is just playing a game on this floor. We're playing for something bigger.
Right.
And you just saw the switch in us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it was like, I think under a minute left, I kind of looked at the clock. You looked up at the scoreboard, and I was like, yo, we really about to do this.
Right.
We really about to win this. And it came full circle for me. And I think I never shared this with nobody too. One of the other assistant coaches on the team was my first head coach when I first played for District Heights.
Wow.
So, and my first year playing, we got to a championship. We lost by 2.
Wow.
In the championship. My first year playing.
Right.
And so I felt vindicated winning the championship coaching wise with him as winning it as a player.
Right, got you.
And so and he kept me calm.
Got you.
He was just like, man, just enjoy it, man. Like, don't be so stressed out.
Right.
Like, just have fun. Like, that was the thing was as coaches, man, just have fun with this.
Yeah, for sure.
Just enjoy it. So it's funny. The kid who got injured, he called from the ambulance with like 30 seconds left on the clock in the game and asked us what the score was. He literally called us. He was like, hey, what was the score? He FaceTimed me from his mother's phone and asked me, say, Coach, what's the score? What's the game? How'd the game going? He was more concerned about the game than his leg.
Right.
And I was just like, I said, Damar, we got one for you. I said, we got a ring coming to you. And the one thing I knew he wanted to play and win it on the floor.
For sure.
So, but that day, it was full of emotions, full of highs. But being in a leadership role,
Right.
you got to stay composed.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to.
Right. And I think that's definitely dope, man. And that's what, when we look at leadership, and like you just sat there and said, man, being composed and understanding that, because there's so many people watching.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's why character is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And, setting the tone and leading by example. Like I said, when I saw you guys, I had the luxury of seeing you guys multiple times that season.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like, okay, you guys were locked in. You guys are focused, not too high, not too low. Sometimes you may have spurts where it's like, oh, man, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And everybody going to have that moment like, hey, man, what you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what you think you going? Details matter. You know what I'm saying? We always say that
Right.
as well. But just to understand that, from nay high, you know what I'm saying? You're talking 8, 9 years old to now seeing them 14, going to, prestigious high schools and doing all these things and supporting them on and off the court, giving them that mentorship. I would just definitely say, job well done. Because you didn't only tackle on, hey, man, y'all are throwing on uniforms and y'all playing a basketball game for me and running a motion offense or 2-3 zone or whatever play you want to sit there and call it. I embodied and I invested in you, and I'm willing to withstand this roller coaster of life and actually hop on the ride with you.
Yes.
Regardless of where you're going, if it's a right turn, a left turn, we're going to get back on track and we can GPS this thing together. That is, to me, is the calling, and I commend you even more for that, because people don't know what these kids are dealing with, from the trauma to the, fallouts or lack of support, what it may be. So to be a vessel for somebody else in that duration speaks volumes.
It does, man. It's as we always talk and we always say to each other, man, mentoring is a full-time job. It gets tough, it gets draining, it gets overwhelmed, and I am still at 42, still learning how to make time for myself. Because the one thing I know how I am is, once I'm in, and I have had moments where I've gotten sick because I've just been ripping and running.
Overexerted yourself. Yes, plenty of times. Yes.
Yeah. And so I had those moments like that. And I had those moments, and then, but you see a kid who has all the potential in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to put them on the right path. That's like, hey, you're going down this path. It's not good. I just want to show you. I don't want to push you over here.
Right.
I just want to show you another side of this that may help you to be better, be more effective, and live a better life. And I don't take all the credit, man. I've had plenty of people around me who helped me do this. Plenty of coaches I've learned a lot from, younger, older. I've learned how to just, even like this year, I've learned how to just be more in a structure, as far as just environment, coaching wise, learning certain stuff with learning how to enjoy the moment with my assistant coach. He taught me that really this year. That was my biggest lesson this year.
Yeah, enjoying the moments. Yeah,
enjoy the moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I would be the one that sit up and film study and, I got to go scout these teams. I'm traveling all over the county looking at teams to go scout.
Because we're so futuristic. We're always thinking that what's next, but then it's like, embrace the now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I get you.
I enjoy all of it. I enjoy the mentoring, the coaching part, but then there's a point where who's helping you to fill your cup?
Yes.
And I've learned that lesson through one of my best friends. He's a pastor, my best friend, Pastor PJ, and he would always ask me, you pour so much of your cup in everybody else who's helping pour back into you. And I never could answer him that because I never had an answer like, oh, so and so doing this.
Right.
And so he was like, you gotta take time for yourself.
Yes.
It's always going to be there.
Right.
They'll be okay.
Right.
And so I learned to do that more for myself.
For sure.
Take a day. I just need to take a day.
For sure.
And even if it's not a day, hey, I'm unavailable for like 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, see, that self-care is important. And, you know, I feel like in the journey and the work that we do, because, I mean, you know, being frontline for the community or your organization and understanding what it is, it's like understanding that your peace is so important. Your sanity, you know, because like I said, it's just like you're constantly building yourself. So it's just like, how do you recharge? How do you revamp? How do you refocus? And I feel like self-care is so important. So like even with myself, I'm finding myself, like I said, I've always been heavy on journaling, or like, if I'm on the phone for a little bit of time. Or if I'm gonna actually relax and like take a nap or really get some sleep, I'm gonna go ahead and get some sleep and not feel sorry about getting that sleep, because guess what, I need it and I know it's a necessity. So like, how is the self-care for you in the balance of this? Because I know now, you know, you have more time on your hands. You know, the poetry, the photography, we getting into, you know, the crafting and the things that you love. Not sitting there saying you love everything you do. You've put 100% effort in everything that you do, because I feel like we wouldn't have it on our plate or do it if it wasn't in our hearts to do.
Right.
So like, how's the self-care been like for you so far, man?
So far so good. Sometimes for me, if it's going to open mic,
Right.
and just relaxing, taking a day, reading a book, and like you say, just sometimes just journaling, and then I've gotten to a point where I'll just sit there, and just relax my brain, because my brain would just spin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's all constantly running. It's constantly running. So
Right.
I had to learn to not think about what am I need to do, because I'm always in that mode. That's something I've always been doing for so long. What do we gotta do today? What do we gotta get done? Especially when you're running a business or multiple businesses, you constantly, well, I gotta promote this. I gotta put this out there. I gotta put this content out there. I gotta promote to do something. And so it'll get done.
For sure.
If I'm not at full strength, it won't get done. So let me just make sure that I'm good. And so if it's, I've actually had moments where I just went to a restaurant and just ate by myself.
That's good. Taking yourself out is always good.
I just sat there, man.
And that was something I used to struggle with at first. I always felt like, man, I need the homies.
It felt weird.
It felt weird. But it's like, nah, you know, when I'm going to the movies, buying a Dolo ticket, oh yeah, bet. Getting the popcorn, getting the lifesavers, getting my little kit, I'm good.
You know where I learned that from? I learned that from a guy who he's a community person too, Jonathan Harris.
Yes. Shout out to him too.
He does that often.
Self-care days.
He does it where he is consistent. He goes to the movies. He'll go hang out somewhere. It's solo dolo, and it's where it's like, wow. And it's to the point it's like, wow, that's really, it can happen like that,
right?
Because I felt like what we've been conditioned to learning and learn by mentally through society and that stuff is, oh, if you go out by yourself, then that means you must be you lonely. Like, no, I don't want to be around nobody.
Right. Facts.
Because it's amazing to me that women can do it all day long.
Right, for sure, they definitely can.
A woman can go sit out by herself, go to dinner, have a drink,
Facts.
whatever, and be perfectly fine.
Right.
If a man does, it's like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Why are you going out by yourself?
Right, exactly.
And so I had to be more comfortable in who I am. Be like, I'm good.
Right.
I'm straight.
I think also it's just like, to kind of piggyback off of that too, creating the safe spaces for us, man. And I think that's why it's so vital, not only to like I said, for us in general as people, but especially the men, like we have to find safe spaces that are healthy, the accountability that is healthy, understanding you can go to a restaurant, get some food, X, Y, and Z. If you want to drink, I ain't sitting there saying you can't do that. But the places that we deem safe, we have to be willing to create and invest and build into that community as well. So that way it can be safe. So that way the conversation ain't just oh yeah, man, how you, man? I'm just grinding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just working. I'm just grinding. Like, oh nah, man, what's really going on? Well, you know what, man? I was going through this obstacle at work, or I was really facing this, and what I'm saying, I didn't really know how to cope with that. But now that the level of vulnerability is being open, now
Mm-hmm.
more and more and more is coming out that conversation, as opposed to just being like, I'm just grinding X, Y, Z. And these are things that we're also learning along the way, because when you were younger, it's like what stays in the house stays in the house.
Correct.
But now we have it to a point where it's like, dang, you're going through it. I'm going through it too. So I can share that
Right.
experience. And now it's like, wait, bro, you going through that too? That means I ain't alone. I thought this the whole time, but dang, bro, you really are going through what I'm going through right now. So we got to help each other.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that safe space is, and I know it's probably the coin phrase now, just like you say, with mental health or
Yeah.
whatever, but it's needed because we've been taught as men, especially black men, what I've seen. Oh, we can't show our emotions.
Right.
We can't be vulnerable. Why are we crying? And a lot of this time we learn this through sports.
Yeah.
If you crying, oh, get up, you be all right.
Right.
Toughen up.
Right.
And it's like, why suppress that emotion?
Right.
But as we get older, and when it's say if we're in a relationship or we're married, and they ask, hey, your significant other asks, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You don't know how to express yourself because you were never given the outlet
Right.
to it.
Right.
And to properly express that emotion.
Right.
So I'm always safe spaces. I feel like too, the one thing I do with my mentees especially is we start the group chat, the group sessions. How were you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's good.
So we kind of engage. I kind of engage the room, like, hey, how are you feeling?
Right.
And they'll tell me, hey, and then I learned this too in another session with a organization. He said, okay, you do that. Ask them to associate a word with that. So now you really get to know this how they feeling.
Right.
And so I've asked like my friends that, I've asked family members that, I even post on social media, hey, how are y'all feeling today? Because it's a redundant question, but if you coming from a genuine place where you don't want nothing in return, I just want to know, how are you doing? That means I care about you.
For sure.
Yo, and we've both done this with each other. Hey, I'm just checking in on you. How you doing?
Right. Facts.
I don't want nothing, man.
Right.
I don't want to talk about nothing else. How are you doing?
Yeah, and it's vital and it's important because sometimes we do need that check-in. Well, actually, not even sometimes. We do. We just need it in general. And I think that it's important to, understand that. And it's coming from a genuine place where it's not anything attached to it, And I'm telling myself, like, to appreciate all of that, because at the end of the day, that support system that you have, there's other people that want that as well. But when you start exerting yourself and realizing that you can build that support as well, man, it's love. So
yeah, man, it's and sometimes your circle may not be 20, 10, 30 people. It might be 2 or 3.
Facts.
I need the quality. I don't need the quantity of people. I need the quality of people. I need to know that if we get together, we have similar values. We know what we want out of life.
Facts.
And we're holding each other accountable to push each other to be better.
Facts.
So that's the main thing for me. I don't really, as kids, we worried about I got all these my friends, they my mans. Not really. I learned a valuable lesson as a kid growing up. And this was told to me by my uncle. He says, when you'll find out who your friends are when you get in trouble.
Oh yeah, that's a fact.
And that's the amazing part for me. I was just like, wow, like, yo, he said, for real? I said, yeah. He said, you're going to find out who they are. Let you get in trouble. Let you get into any type of trouble where it's severe. The ones who show up for you, those are the ones you need to keep around you. because they care about you, or the ones who really wouldn't put you in, who wouldn't help put you in that situation, keep around you.
Facts.
So it's more needed too, because we gotta have those safe spaces. We gotta have those talks where we can really open up, because like you say, not just the kids who going through stuff. We as adults, we go through a lot.
Facts.
Like, yo, like this adulthood stuff, man, it wears on you.
It does.
Waking up, I gotta worry about what bills I gotta pay,
Right.
getting to work,
Right.
my car breaking down. Oh, I gotta save my money. Oh man, student loans about to kick in. I gotta
Right.
get ready to pay those back, and,
Right.
and you got all these stresses. But you asking me to be like, all right, you ask me how am I doing, and I tell you I'm fine. When in actuality, I'm screaming inside.
Yeah, I'm screaming inside. I'm really going through it. I just don't want you to know that I'm going through it, because
Right.
I want to sit there and thug it out. And it's like, yo, thugging it out and doing all that, all you doing is suppressing. Now all of a sudden it get to that point, and that's why I tell the kids all the time. It's like, yo, you got a soda bottle, you got a bottle of water. The soda bottle, obviously, you got all these emotions. You shake that joint up, and then what happens? You explode, right? We've all exploded because our thoughts, our words, our actions, we're so busy listening to reply as opposed to understand. And I tell the kids all the time, yes, you started off as a bottle of soda, because I did too. But you want to transform into the bottle of water, because then when situations come and you know how to cope with the adrenaline and all these other things, now when you're facing this adversity, whether it be a test, a challenge, or whatever it may be, now all of a sudden I'm a bottle of water, because now the situation, instead of thinking the worst, I'm cool, calm, and collective, and realizing, okay, guess what? When I shake this bottle of water, it remains the same. It's going to be the triple C's. It's going to be cool, calm, and collective, man.
Yep.
So that's what I really want to tell people, man. So like, what's the motivation that you would give the youth, or just give community, or give anybody, man? Because I feel like motivation is always needed. It's required. So like, what is the motivation that you would give the people, bro?
I would tell anybody that you matter. You matter to somebody. You matter to your family. You matter to your community. You matter to this world. Regardless of how this society may think, they may look, they may act, you matter. You have a voice. You have a platform, and always remember that somebody's watching you. Somebody's out here watching how you move and how you maneuver. So if you moving wrong, they gonna think it's cool to move that way too. So as long as you know you matter and you working to change to be better, make sure that you know you pull somebody else up to help them to be better too. And then lastly is enjoy the moment. Don't tomorrow ain't here yet. Enjoy the day. Enjoy today. Make sure you doing good today. And then if you blessed to see tomorrow, then you can focus on tomorrow. Focus on that day.
For sure. I agree, man. I would just say, stay the course. Give yourself grace.
That's a big
Give yourself grace.
That's a big one.
Because the thing about it is, like, you have to be patient with yourself, right? And understand, like, everything is important. Who you meet, how you treat people, your character. Continue to build your character each and every single day. Don't be afraid to share your gift with the world in the most unique way, because only you could do it that way. Only you could say it that way, or dress it up that way, or whatever it is. I think every person has a level of genius in them. So surround yourself with the people that bring the genius out. Because when you surround yourself with the people that bring the genius out, then you will receive that confirmation knowing that you was a genius all along. And I believe that everybody has that level of it. You know what I'm saying? To be, dope, a vibe, amazing, and all that. So, yeah, that's what I would say, man.
I think, too, with that, you said something about the grace part, is that, and I've suffered with this a lot as an adult, is, especially as a kid, too, is I was way too hard on myself with a lot. And I learned that in that journey for me, I didn't like who I was. So that's why I was so hard on myself to be this so-called perfect person, which never will be.
Yeah, it's hard to exist because I ain't gonna lie. I still beat myself up
Mhm.
because you strive for this notion of perfectionism or wanting to be perfect, but it's like, nah, bro, it's progress.
Yes.
That's all.
And I think too, and so I've learned in that moment too, like you say, it's a progress. So it's like, okay, to really just, hey man, you a dope dude.
Yeah.
I had to tell myself that.
Mhm.
Like, yo, I know these people give you that your flowers. I know they tell you this stuff. Oh, you an amazing mentor, coach. You're just an amazing person.
Right.
But I never saw that.
Mm.
I never saw that as a kid. I never saw that as an adult. I was always trying to make everybody else feel good,
Mm.
while inside I'm like suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until recently where I really discovered that who I am,
Right.
and I'm very happy with who I am. And one thing I always tell the parents who come into who bring their kids to our program is that we're not perfect.
Right.
We're going to make mistakes. We're going to mess up. But the one thing is just hold us accountable.
Facts.
Make sure that we're doing our job the best of our ability. And I just think too, man, I gave myself so much grace because God gave me so much grace.
Yep.
And I was more hard on myself than he was. I'm just like,
Right.
come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
he's every day I wake up, he give me some type of grace. I could have been in a lot of trouble.
Right.
And so I've learned, just to be proud of who I am, to be grateful, and like you say, man, not to beat myself up much because coming full circle, that's what helped me too in my coaching career now.
Right.
Like if I make a mistake, I don't beat myself up about certain stuff no more.
Yeah. Throughout the trials, tribulations, roller coasters of life, man, enjoy the ride. Just enjoy it, bro. And I think that's the thing too. And you just sat there and said it like with the grace part, and I reiterated this like God gives you grace. Like don't be afraid to extend that grace to others. Because that's the biggest thing as we're learning in this healing journey. I think when we talk about it, it's a step towards healing. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have been wounded or felt damaged or felt emotionally scarred before, but being able to talk about it and understanding that vulnerability and transparency is a superpower, embrace those things and realize how powerful those things are too.
Yeah. Having that moment, like you say, just embrace the moment.
Yeah.
It's key. And as long as I've had people ask me too, like, what's my why? Why do I do this? And I look at the kids who are coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the kids like, look, they have an opportunity.
Right.
Why not help them just discover
Right.
that opportunity?
For sure.
Help them see that, hey, you want to do this? Let's figure out. We all have gifts.
Yeah.
We all have a moment. We all have things that we are good at.
Right.
So I'm big on community.
For sure.
Hey, if you're good at this, hey, I have a kid over here who really wants to do this. Can you just show them how to do this?
Right.
Give them some tips and points of what you did and didn't do, how to work, and and then they can just go from there. Like you said, like how you reiterate, is giving them an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like as a community, we have to get back to like find ways to give each other opportunities to better ourselves.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, man. Like when you sat there and said that, like it just reminded me of because I'm big on like hip hop and stuff like that. It reminded me of the Jadakiss song, "By Your Side." He said it in like I think it was like the last verse of the song. He gonna think he gonna think he know how it's going, but show him the ropes. If you take him to the Gucci store, show him the loafs. Hood people, I'm just showing you growth. So it's just like understanding that notion is like that exposure piece because when they see it. It's like, ooh.
They
you know what I mean?
So I feel like a lot of people look at the finished product.
Yes.
But they don't see the behind the scenes stuff. So like for example, they look at Steph Curry. He can shoot threes.
Right.
You don't see the hours that he put into his craft.
Facts.
You don't see the workout period, like the stuff he did, the sacrifice he made towards without his family.
Right.
To make that work. LeBron James, same way.
Right.
It's you have to make a sacrifice. If you want this, if you want to be better, you gotta sacrifice your comfort.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice your comfort and separating yourself from others. You have to do what they're not doing. So it's like, yo, if they partying, you working, and I tell myself that too. I'm like,
Yes.
man, my routine every morning and just being able to wake up, pray, be blessed,
Mm-hmm.
journal, go work out, rather it me be walking or running or things like that. Just getting myself in the mode, and I realize the earlier I'm up and the more active I am, the more productive I feel.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yo,
It's
okay, now that I'm
and
just sticking to that, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good.
that's a discipline that
Yeah, for
is.
sure.
That's a discipline you've mastered for yourself,
Yes,
and that a lot of people want to have.
right.
As far as not saying what you do what you're doing, but as far as just having that discipline.
Yeah, and it's not easy, bro.
It's not easy.
It's definitely not easy.
I've learned. I had a conversation with some group of men one time, and the guy said something. He was so cold with it. He says, "Change and comfort can't exist.
Yeah,
They can't coexist with each other." And I was like, "Wow." And I had to think about it, and I was like, "It makes perfect sense. If you want to grow, you're going to be uncomfortable.
for sure.
Any type of growth you want to do, whether you growing in a sport, a profession, or you just growing in life. Sometimes you're gonna have to be isolated from people, from your comfort, in order to grow. So I've had to, in my journey with mentoring, I had to, I I haven't been I haven't been around a lot of parties and stuff like that. You coach with your adults,
Right,
you'll
for
go
sure.
out, you'll
Yeah,
go out
yeah,
certain
for
spots,
sure.
but I'm not going certain places.
Yeah,
Um, with what I really want out of life is certain people I can't be around.
right, exactly.
And there's nothing against you
Right,
as
nah.
a person.
It's just
I
like you
still
not,
love
yeah,
you.
yeah,
We're just not on the same
wavelength
alignment right now.
Right, facts.
And it's okay. If I see you, I'm gonna support whatever I can.
Right,
But I can't be everywhere.
right, exactly.
And that's a message that we both share with each other too in conversations. Like,
Yeah.
look, we can't be everywhere.
No, you can't.
And I've learned too that if in this season right now, in this part, me being isolated is being a good thing.
For sure.
And being quiet, because it's preparing me for what's next.
Right.
And I don't know what's next, but I know it's something bigger, because I haven't never been this quiet as far as just doing stuff.
Right.
I'm used to always out and about, being around people, engaging,
Right.
having fun. But now, just like I'm enjoying the quiet time. I'm enjoying my time.
For sure, bro, man. This was a therapeutic conversation, man. I just
Yeah,
want to
man.
say, man, from one brother to another, I'm proud of you, man. I appreciate you. Continue to push for greatness, bro. Like,
Thank you, man.
you've laid a blueprint, a foundation for people to believe and to invest in an individual, as opposed to, like a company or CEO, whatever you want to call it. And I know that it's been a calling on your life. This is not a title. This is not a position. This is literally like selfless work, and where people have, conducted themselves sometimes in selfish ways, and you've been able to maneuver the best way you see fit, man. So I just pray that God continues to open up doors for you, show you light where you may feel like it's dark. And as you continue to invest in others and just listen to his voice, man, the best is yet to come.
Thank you, man. Hey, thank you, man. I receive all of that, man. But I just also want to give you your flowers, bro. From the time we met, man, I see the growth, seeing what you do. And I just pray that, man, that you continue to allow God to use you. It's we both know it's not gonna be easy.
Right.
It's gonna be challenging, but always know, bro, I'm in your corner.
For sure.
And that, you know what I'm saying? Because you have a calling to do something major in this community by alone right now. You have something called a great calling on this community. And I think you haven't really reached the highest level yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be scary what you do, but not in a bad way.
Right.
It's gonna be scary in a good way of how you want to reach these people. And I want to continue to say, man, continue to rise, bro, above the nonsense, the noise. Stay grounded in God, man. And I'm proud of you, bro.
Vice versa. I appreciate you, bro. Love, man. Well, you already know, the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. The harder you grind, the bigger you dream. I said the harder you grind, the bigger you dream. And we out.
It's a wrap, shorty.
This is
Soundstripe.